can't see it, but it's actually telling me meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
Okay, right.
It says in the corner.
Right, well, let me just see where Felicia is. She's probably gone into the group. Although I did send her the Zoom link.
Ellen, I loved how you've done all your crystals. It really inspired me to do something with mine when I get a minute.
Well, I haven't done anything but label them yet.
Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. The thing is, I've got some that are like what I call natural rocks.
Those are beautiful. Yeah.
And some of them are smooth, like what yours are on your picture.
Yeah. Well, so when I was looking for some of the names online, they had different examples. So some of them were natural. I started looking for tumbled ones so I could recognize them better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Oh, here's Felicia. I'm not going to be able to stream. I don't know, for some reason it doesn't like it. So oh, here's Alison. So Zoom is, where's that? Hello.
You're still streaming on your page, Cassie, because it's telling me in the corner of my laptop.
Yeah, I'm getting an error message though. So
right.
hi Alison.
Hello.
Hi Felicia. Hello, so lovely to have you here. Very excited.
Can I just say, Cassie, this is a window opening for me because I had something else planned, but train strikes have delayed it. So I may have to go a little early.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks for letting us know. Don't worry. Hi, Felicia.
Hi.
So I'm not able to stream, unfortunately. So if you don't mind, I'm going to introduce Felicia. I'm going to hand over and I'll see if I can twiddle around in the background, if that's okay.
Sounds funny. Twiddle around.
Twiddle around, see if I can. I don't want any disappointment because so many people want to come on this call today and I don't want anyone to be disappointed, but there will be a replay. So Felicia, thank you so much for being here and lovely to see you guys here live as well. So just an intro before I hand over to Felicia, I just want to, I actually can't almost describe how much Felicia's helped me in life and business with her amazing gifts and with the crystals that she works with. And then I've also bought crystals from Felicia that I now work with. But I think if I just summarized, without overstating it, Felicia's helped me to get my dream house, sort out a relationship issue, which went leaving one, starting another one, releasing a large amount of money that got stuck in the US banking system. And then most recently was the cutting the cord that I shared the post about, cutting a cord that was made of steel, and I was stuck because I thought it's not going to cut, it's not going to cut. And Felicia said you need a Herkimer diamond and just dissolve it. So just a few examples of how Felicia's helped me, and I just can't recommend her enough. She's my go-to person. And I was just thinking about this before the call, even though we can help ourselves and we can work with crystals ourselves and oils and human design and all of these tools that we have, actually we can only go to a certain point by ourselves, and then you need to go to an expert. Does that make sense? So Felicia is my go-to expert for all things crystals. So having said that, can I hand over to you, Felicia, to share your story? And the lovely ladies that are here, and some ladies that couldn't make it but are going to watch the replay, are really, oh, here's Lara, got more coming on, all very interested in crystals, have crystals, but don't really know how to really work with them. So very excited to hear from you. Felicia, stage is yours. Thank you.
Great, thank you. The spotlight then. I'm used to that one dancing, so I'm fine. Right, I'm Felicia Banks. As Cassie's saying, my passion, or one of my passions, is about crystals. Brief history background. I grew up in an abusive relationship with my mother, and sort of different things happened. I won't go into details, but lots of horrific stuff happened. And a friend of mine, when I was quite young, gave me a present of a bag of crystals that she bought from a seaside visit or something. And that started my journey off. But I didn't realize at the time how it was going to develop. It wasn't instant. It happens, by the way, when you work with crystals. They have a habit of teaching you about yourself on a very deep level without you knowing it. I then went into a stage of not actually believing, because that's when you're in human form, well, your spirit gives you lessons. So you cannot be on a continual basis of being spiritual all the time. You have to go through a stage of what we call mundane, switched off, before your intuition starts to spark again by either conversation or something happens, or somebody again gives you something of a gift, which was for me another crystal adding to my collection already. And therefore it started the procedure off again. And then when going to do my anatomy physiology, it just literally unfolded and my crystals came into play 100%, because I was doing my reflexology, and my then tutor worked out that your longevity of being in this sort of world for holistic therapies was to actual fact include crystals with your therapy work. So I'm just giving you a brief detailed background. When I was 50, lucky me, I went into my crystal stage, and my crystals taught me that I needed to release my cords and attachments to my mother's abusiveness towards me. And they taught me how, with my spirit guides, to literally cut the cords and release the contract I actually agreed to be with my mother in that situation. I must say it took 3 goes for it. It's not easy, because obviously it's well inbred and buried inside you, deep inside. So you've got to go through several layers. The crystals teach you how to go through each layer, but you have to make sure that you allow yourself the privilege and the luxury to be yourself on each level. You cannot deny yourself, because if you do, the crystals will give you, oh dear, the crystals do give you a kick up the arse, in other words, to put it bravely. You don't get away with anything with crystals. If you wish to work with them, they are kind, they're gentle, they're very, very giving, they're very loving, but they also teach you to do exactly the same as what they're giving to you, because we are born of abundance of love, and therefore we are meant, this is where we're going with ascension. And the crystals are teaching you how to behave or unbehave and behave towards yourself, if that makes sense. Because we've been in patterns for many years, centuries, especially women, witch wounds and everything else. Therefore, we have to undo what we first learnt and then relearn. But because we're all very wise women, whatever age we are, and men, we have a habit of going back into patterns and programs that are not ours necessarily either. The crystals, all they say is, do not reprogram yourself. When you come out of a program, do not reprogram yourself into another one. Go into yourself, because that's who you are and that's what you're meant to be. They are very, very keen to, well, they were eager today, I must say. That I was saying to Cassie earlier on, they were really gearing themselves up today, I'll tell you. Boy, oh boy, were they gearing them up. Because they like the showcase, you see, they like the glitter and the shine and everything, and they like to be able to impart the information that is being asked upon them. So yeah, I've got loads in front of me. I mean, to me, my house, if anyone comes to my house, they know what to expect. I've got crystals everywhere. I've got crystals in my car, my bra, it's in my garden, they're in my greenhouse, they're in my shed. They are everywhere. There's no available. Even my husband wears crystals. He makes his own jewelry. And my husband actually is in touch with his feminine side. Whoopee. So therefore, he embraces and enjoys being able to work with crystals himself. Not like me, but he works in his way. But he does help me, funnily enough, in my business as well, because he helps me create my jewelry. So that's really good, as Cassie knows. Yeah, so it's really, really amazing how the development of crystals are. It doesn't matter why the way each stage that you're at, whether you're in the beginner stage, the intermediates. Okay, I got the drift. Thank you very much. I've just been told off with that one. There is no such thing as beginners, intermediates, or advanced in crystals. It is purely your your joy about being with crystals. One thing I must say is I learned when I was doing being tutored by my mentor for over 20 years, and I was an apprentice to him. I didn't go on any crystal courses. I was his apprentice. So I learned from the literally ground upwards because he worked in a diamond mine. So he knew how to grade diamonds. He knew what crystals did. So he himself worked with crystals in a different mannerism, in a different way to most other people who teach crystals. So I was being taught by someone who didn't exactly know what crystals are from the ground up, in other words, excuse the pun. So he taught me heaps loads. I mean, what he didn't teach me is more to the point. His passion was just overspilling. And he always remarked upon me saying, please remember about crystals. They do not like to be programmed. Like we don't like to be programmed, they don't either. You ask crystals, you ask for their permission to work with them. And they also, it's no good going off to an expert in a shop and saying, I've gone on a course and the tutor has given me a list of the crystals I require for my course. Word of advice, ladies, whoever's listening, do not do the list because you won't be buying anything on the list because the crystals will choose you. You think you're choosing the crystals, but that's not the case. The crystal energy is tuning to your energy fields and your essential essences. And what they will do is they will recognize the resonance energy within you to what you're not asking. It's verbally what you're asking, but it's the words that you're not speaking. It's the words that are silent inside your body. So in other words, it's your inner child and your inner person inside you that is actually calling to the crystals because it's silent. It's like light language. So you're speaking to the crystals in a different language that you don't recognize necessarily physically. So they will tune into that and they'll work exactly which crystals you require and they will point you in that direction anatomically. So your body will move automatically to them. And you'll instantly feel that you have to pick them up, but you don't know the reason being why you have to pick them up. So you pick them up and you go, oh, that's strange, they buzz. Oh, that feels different. You'll pick up another crystal that was on the list and feel absolutely nothing. So you'll put that crystal down and then you'll keep this crystal because you cannot put this crystal down. It will not allow you to put it down. And the reason I say this is exactly what training I was given for over moons. And I worked out the method that they were teaching me. So the crystal, although I was a physical mentor teaching me, the crystals were teaching me something about myself, but also how to work with them. And gradually over the years, it sort of developed into me being able to read, them reading me reading them, and then downloading the relevant information, not only for myself and my life and my business, but also for everybody else who I was reading them for. It was quite phenomenal and amazing how it works. I mean, Cassie knows, because no two readings are the same. And the detail the crystals go into is so bizarre in some ways because it can take you into your past lives. It can take you into your inner child. It can take you inside your body anatomically. It can also pinpoint different parts of you that have dispersed itself in different places. It can also, what they cannot do. They're just telling me there's nothing they cannot do for anybody. And because you are hiding sometimes behind a mask or a cloak, with crystals, there is no hiding. You are literally laid bare to them and they will tell you exactly what you don't necessarily want to hear. And yet they don't hold bars back. They just tell you. They're very forthright. They're very much, well, Cassie knows it too well. They will tell you exactly how, what, and when, where, and everything else to boot. And your inner self will say, oh, someone's actually heard me and understands what I'm saying. oh, this is a pleasure. And then that once you say those happy words, even though you don't feel very comfortable with saying them, the crystals somehow then tune into them and tweak the energy. And then that is their signal that they then can channel the information that you require, which is directly through me, because they give me images, although they're not recognizable images to the most other persons outside. To describe the images I see are not like a television screen or a film. They are unique to me. And now I then translate them into a language that I can then part on to the person I'm speaking to. It's complex, yet it's very simple, in other words, but that's crystals.
Can
They
I
are.
just jump in here, because I bet everyone's got loads and loads of questions for you. So working with crystals, is it a little bit like working with angels and spirits and guides that you have to ask for help, or do you just find the crystal and the crystal will tell you, like you say, tell you what you need to know? How do we get started then with our, you've got your lovely, we've all got our lovely crystals.
You're joking, aren't you, Cassie? I've got 2 trays here.
Yeah.
This is all I brought down, because obviously they said to me, please. I said, please, 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 crystals. Like always, I go into my little room and I say, please, please, be simple here. Can we have a relatively amount of crystals that I can show people rather than everything? Because they do have a tendency to all showcase at the same time, because they're all eager to come out. Like we do, I suppose, in our own company when we're out with our friends. You all want to sort of be sort of, talking to one another. And this is what crystals are like. So crystals are Mother Nature's brain cells. So as Cassie was saying about, do you have to ask? Yes, you do. Never take crystals for granted, and never demand their energies either, because they will just pull away. They'll be silent. They won't speak to you. It's like having a best friend that you truly cherish and you love, and they are my best friends. They've been with me as best friends through my life, and they've taken me through different challenges and journeys. But funnily enough, I'm always resilient. I don't know how, from what's been happening with my life. I have no idea how I'm resilient, but I've obviously been in that way, and all persistent to get through the actual challenges. So yes, you do ask your questions, similarly if you were to working with pendulum. Now I haven't got a pendulum with me because I left it upstairs, but this is one of my dream catchers, which Cassie's got one, but this one I made. You can use, oh, by the way, Cassie, just to let you know, a message came through from the crystals yesterday, because I had a load of ones I had to part over to the ladies in Sparkling. And I was being given that you have to put your crystal sun catcher in and out. So it's out sometimes outside in the garden, and then you bring it inside, because you have to reignite the energies back in and out. And also you can use your sun catcher as a pendulum. It's a long one like this one, but this is what I make. My husband and I make. They're all individual, but these are sun catchers. So if you were to have a pendulum, for instance, you would ask it relevant questions, and the crystals, being very astute, they would work out whether it's going to be yes, no, or maybe, or not even do anything at all. This is something else I teach, by the way. If you're interested, I teach about pendulums, how to work with pendulums. But being that I'm just, the first thing you actually ask a pendulum is, the answer to, which is the simple version, is my name. So you just say, is my name Felicia? I know my yes is, and my yes is to the left. I'm not moving my arm. The crystal is doing it for me. So that's saying to me, yes, it is true. My name is Felicia. So this is exactly what you do with crystals. You ask it a question to begin with that it can be a bit hypnotic, by the way, if you keep looking at it, just to let you know. But what you can do is you ask a crystal. You don't have to necessarily have a pendulum with you. You can hold it in your hand and you ask a question that you already know the answer to, and the crystals will give you a buzz or a ping, or your body will go into fuzz mode. And when I'm in fuzz mode, it will just tingle all over. or you'll get a slight coolness or a very hot feeling, like a hot flash, by the way, just to let you know, but you're not going into menopause. And it will get, that's a sign. But remember, each person has a different sign. We don't have the same. So what I'm saying to these examples that when I teach about crystals, these are the examples my students come back with when I'm teaching them. And there are also, you get buzzing feet. Your feet feel as though they're on hot coals sometimes. There is all sorts of signs that the crystals will tell you that is unique for you. And you ask the question that you already know. So it tells you, then you ask the question you are actually asking for the answer to. Now, bearing in mind, like with angels and anything else esoterical, they do not give you the full answers back. So you are given a snippet of information, and then you have to work out intuitively the rest of it yourself. They may intervene now and again if you get a slight off target, but as a rule, they do not give you the whole thing, because you're supposed to learn from this. And the crystals are your guidance and your supports whilst you're going through them. It's very intricate, to be honest, yet it's very simple in the most simplest of basic terms. But they are foundations of our existence. Without the crystals, which are 95% of the Earth's crust, you would not be standing on Mother Earth. So it literally is that they are our lifesavers, in other words, but they are also all individual, like we are. So even if you were to have, as Cassie's got one, go on, hold yours up again, the Homokerkema. Go on, that's Cassie's, that's mine. So the difference in size does not matter. You can have a twee one that size, or you can have a whopping great big one this size. It does not matter which size you have, because each of them in turn have their own soul and their own spirit and their own light. And if you are attracted to that particular crystal, then that is your friend. They will work with you and you with them, because it's a two-way energy, in other words. And they are fascinating. Once you get into this world, I'm telling you now, from past experience over 30 odd years, that's it. Your life is then enriched, believe you me, far beyond your wildest dreams, because they will take you on journeys and adventures you didn't even know you actually meant to go on. But they are intriguing, they're exciting. Sometimes they are rather scary, and you think to yourself, why am I doing this? What am I doing it for? And then the crystals will say, well, you wanted to do that, didn't you? You've been writing about it, you've been manifesting it, you've been visualizing it, but you've done nothing about it. So we're going to tell you, you're going for it. And there's this, as I said, crystals will give it to you, both barrels, in other words, whether you like it or not. But they're encouraging in all sorts of mannerisms. So yeah. Anyone?
So there's one question here, in fact, actually a couple of questions, but I think it might be better. Do you want to just unmute yourself, guys, if you've got questions for Felicia, and ask? Is that better? Because then the crystals can pick up on that too, can't they, rather than putting it in the chat?
True.
So Alison's asking about caring for crystals, and then Ellen just put a question in as well. So guys, yeah, I think unmute, take it, or put your hand up, or whatever you want to do, and ask directly, and then Felicia and the crystals can respond. Alison, do you want to go first?
Okay, thank you. Felicia, thank you so much. I've had crystals for a long time. I've always loved them. And I've got probably more than one question, but I've always wanted to know, people have told me different things about how to care for my crystals. It's hard to take them out into the moon where I live because of the position of my flat. But I just like to know about cleaning them and looking after them, and where, I don't know whether just warm water or all of that kind of thing.
That's a simple question. Lovely question to ask, actually, because most people don't ask a question. What I suggest is, there's lots of suggestions that people put forwards in all sorts of books and everything. I was taught that when you cleanse a crystal, if you have a piece of carnelian or a piece of citrine, they are cleansers, the same as quartz crystals. So even if you haven't got the moon to do it, if I was to spend my time taking my crystals out, it would be 2 weeks to put them out and 2 weeks to bring them in again, because I've got so many of them. So I then ask my crystals to do the cleansing, luckily for me. But if you were to have a piece of carnelian, for instance, either raw or rough, which is the orangey type crystal, that's mine. I'm just sort of bringing up sample. That's my carnelian. That's a sphere. So if you, this is 100% positive. So what it will do, it will negate all negative energies that are built up in a crystal. In other words, if you've got fluorite or selenite or anything like that, selenite's a very good cleanser as well. You do not do anything with water with selenite or fluorite because it will dissolve it eventually. You won't have anything left, like with a lot of other crystals, that soft crystals. Citrine, and I use citrine and carnelian a lot. That's my citrine. Sorry guys, I've got some biggie ones here. I've also got small ones as well, but these ones came up to first off. This is a citrine, a natural formated citrine. It's not been handcrafted or anything by humans. This came out of the ground as it is. And this is a natural one from the Congo, so it's not a heated amethyst. This one's a citrine and that one's carnelian. These two crystals, you can actually put all your crystals around it in a circle and let them do their work, and they will draw out all the negativity and negate it completely, dissolve the energy. You do not have to necessarily running it under cold running water, because some crystals don't like it. And that's me. Or else I bless my crystals. I talk to them all the time as friends. So you can either say how grateful you are to them, how much you love them, you appreciate them. I'm your faithful friends, whatever is a good affirmation, they will draw it in, and what you give out, they give back to you. And what will happen is when you clean your crystals, you can ask them, if you're going to put it up a citrine or a carnelian, you can say to them, please, can you cleanse these crystals for me? I'm most grateful, and just leave them to it. Because boy, oh boy, do they clean the crystals. They even clean you as well at the same time. They will clean all sorts of parts of you. They will not only clean the external parts of you, you'll also clean the insides as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you. How does it, is it a particular time that it takes, or you just?
They will tell you, they will work out with your, how can I put it, an internal message will be given to you saying, we're ready. Yeah. Sometimes they will just say to me, excuse me, you've left us here a little bit longer than expected. Can you take us away now? So it's like having a friend talking to you on like a telegram message, but it's not written, it's in your head. It's very, very strange to explain, because I mean, this is my life. It's really explain. But it's like having a written message given to you, but they will whisper it to you and say, excuse me, oi, you left us too long. Can you take us off now? We're ready. We can work again now. And then you don't need to do anything with cleansing the crystals that have been doing the cleansing, because they'll do them themselves.
And do you use them together, the carnelian and the citrine, or do you sometimes use them separate? You put them together? I
use them together or apart.
Okay.
Because both of them are abundance crystals. So they will help you with your abundance. Now, abundance doesn't necessarily be money either. It can be time. It can be anything. Literally anything across the board. We always associate abundance being one thing, because that's what we, everything in the reading the books and everything, they only associate it with one thing. But the crystals have a vast amount of abundance in all areas and all aspects of Mother Nature. So therefore it applies to teach us the same.
Now, I don't know whether I've got carnelian. I did have carnelian, but I have got some selenite that I was given. It's a selenite. It's been molded like a heart.
All right. Yes. Is it a bowl shape or a flat?
No, it's flat.
Oh, it's a grid. Yes, it's called charging grid. Oh, charging. Charging plate. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Because you can cleanse the crystals whilst it's on there, but it's also charging at the same time.
Gosh. Oh, do you know? This is just tip of the iceberg. There's so much more I could ask you, but I should let other people have a go. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much for asking the questions.
Yeah, and
that's brilliant.
I'll come some more. I think I'll have to come back. I might have to leave early, so that's why I'm saying that now. Thank
And I'll
you.
put Felicia's details in the group as well, so you can connect with her directly. Ellen had a really good question, and a lot of what you're saying, I'm thinking as well. After Ellen, I'm thinking, Debbie, this is just so resonating with what we were talking about this morning, wasn't it? Oh, you got your hand up. So let's do Ellen next, and then Debbie.
So, because I'm, well, thank you. First of all, thank you for coming and sharing everything. I'm new to crystals, although not really when I think back, but for now, I'm new to crystals. And when I went to the crystal shop, they are all labeled like this, like rose quartz is good for love. And, some of the black crystals are for, getting rid of negative energy or protection. So how does all of that, those labels, how do those play in? Because it doesn't seem like what you're saying is that it really is that way. So I'm confused.
That was exactly how I was when I started. And my mentor sort of said to me, just go by the name of the crystal and ask the crystal what they're good for you. And also what I did was buy lots of crystal books at the same time. So I thought, oh, good, I can learn by all the crystals, because obviously these people that have written the books know all about crystals. And then my mentor said, he actually pushed all the books away and he said, no, please do not buy any books, because it's their adaptation of what was channeled to them. And when they say about the properties and the beneficial benefits from the crystals and the properties are great, because then you learn about the actual mineral makeup of them, which is fantastic. And also you learn about the mole scale, which the mole scale means the hardness of each crystal, which is brilliant. But as far as the beneficial is concerned and the healing, that is down to the individual with the crystals. It is, as I said, they've written it, they've channeled the crystal information for everybody. So, as we well know, not everything suits all. So when you're working with crystals, if you go into a crystal shop and you see rose quartz, oh, self-love. Well, yes, it is. That's your starting point. Because you have to, from somebody who's been through, for instance, low self-esteem, got depression, brilliant crystal because they don't love themselves. But then once they've started to unveil themselves, start believing in themselves again, what will happen is that crystal will be too light for them. It will not go into deeper depths. It will stay on the surface. So what the crystals will guide you to when you're in a crystal shop. You may go to something like shungite or obsidian, which goes a lot deeper. It is a dark crystal, but you have to address the shadow self. And having the rose quartz with you is good at the same time, because it's a light crystal, so the light and the dark together. But as you were saying about labeling, the crystals don't like that. They just don't like having the written information. And sometimes, as you've noticed, they go into quite depth about the crystals. This will do this and this will do that, and you'll go reams and reams and reams. And you'll look at it and you're going, but that doesn't resonate with me. This crystal means XYZ, which is not on the list. They've missed it off. But it isn't. It's because it's their interpretation. And the crystals, when I went into somewhere in St Ives in Cornwall, and I happened to see exactly what you've described, and the crystals were going, no, please don't do that. And I'm going, well, I'm not about to tell the owner that they've got it wrong. And they went, no, please, go and tell them. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. It's not my responsibility to do that. But all I did say to them is, the crystals have spoken to me in saying that they don't like the full description, because it leaves the person who's buying it, they have a set impression what the crystals are going to do when they get them home. And if that doesn't happen, the magic of the crystals to that person doesn't work, because they're expecting what's written down. Well, I've written this, that's not happening for me. Why isn't it happening for me? I'm getting other things. Why is this is what it's saying? And therefore I discounted all of that. and let it go. And I actually relayed it to the person in the shop and she didn't like it, but hey ho. Crystals, as I say, they give you messages to pass on to other people and then they don't like what they're hearing, but you have to do it because the crystals give you challenges to get over your fear of something. So you're going into a crystal shop is quite true. You just read the name of the crystal, ask the crystal what the crystal can do for you, rather than reading the bottom bit. It's as though you can also imagine when you're looking at the crystal name at the top, it's as though you're automatically putting a shield over the top, over the words, and then just read the crystal name, and then just pick up one of the crystals out of the baskets or whatever it is, and just say, well, you're a rose quartz. Don't quite know what you do, but what can you do? What is it you are telling me, or what am I to work with? And they will tell you without you reading the blurb.
Great, thank you.
Because that's how my tutor taught me. He said, do not look at any, just literally tune yourself into the crystals. They will tell you what you need and what you're supposed to be doing. And the benefits, when you start doing that, the benefits will unfold directly for you rather than what you've read. If that makes sense. Yes, it does.
I love that. That's sort of the message of, I think, today's talk, isn't it? Is about tuning in to what you need and letting the crystals guide you, and not trying to force anything into a box or a label. Thank you. That's brilliant. So Debbie, over to you.
Hi, Felicia. Thank you so much for this. It's just, I'm so excited. And the reason for my excitement is I feel I've only got a few crystals of my own, but I want to bring them forward into what I'm stepping into at the moment, which is to take people into the wilderness, into Mother Nature, through the work that I do, and I've just secured a piece of land in which to do that. But I am I'm not new to crystals per se, but I'm new to using crystals deeper for myself, but also in my work as well. So my question is really, how do I take or bring the crystals into my work, and how will I know which crystals to bring into my work? Excuse me.
Good question, because that's exactly what I'm doing myself at the moment. I've started Mother Nature told me to do this through the crystals, to do what I'm calling a goddess gathering. And there's several of them. It's one every month. And I just go into nature. And what I was taught by my mentor is to do crystal circles. So what you do is you take raw crystals or tumbled or whatever you're guided to take. Usually for me, it's rose quartzes because that's how I was taught. So I take about 7, 8 to 11 rose quartzes with me, quite big ones.
What's the difference between the two things that you mentioned, the tumble and the other one?
Well, one is...
is that a natural one? Because that's my rose. Talk about big pieces. That's my rose quartz.
Yeah, that is what you call rough, and this is a smooth or tumbled one.
Ah, right, okay.
So it's just literally one that if you were to, my rose quartz
so
is
that's my smooth. That's my smooth one.
Tumbled, then. Yeah, tumbled.
And that's
is
my raw
smooth.
one.
Yeah. So right. I usually take the raw ones out because they are as they come out the ground.
Yeah.
And I was taught to go and put them into nature in a circle.
In a circle, right.
And then what you do is you have a doorway. You make a doorway. I make a doorway out of smoky quartzes, and they're double terminators because you have the transition of in and out energy from the doorway. And what you do is you get guided by the crystals, and you build this circle, and you put the doorway, but you put the two quartzes that way lying down. and make a doorway. This is the entrance for you to come into the circle and everyone else to come into the circle with you. And once everyone's in circle, a circle within the circle, you then close the two together.
Okay. And what was the name of that crystal that you said?
Smoky quartz.
Sorry?
Smoky quartz. Smoky
Smoky
quartz. They look like these ones. This is a double of mine. This is a wand.
Okay.
And what you do is you then put them together. So the 2 points are like that inside.
Yeah.
So it closes the circle. Reason being, these are grounding. So they will work with Mother Nature directly. And what I do is I then say a prayer to the earth, and I call in the crystal, the elements of the crystals and the spirit of the crystals to join me. And I have no idea after that, because it's totally intuitive. I just literally work with the crystals, and they tell me, they will channel through me my singing, my drumming, whatever else comes up, to be honest. But it's very much high vibe, and whoever's in the circle receives the energy healing within the circle and the land itself. It's quite, it's ancient wisdom that comes through, but the crystals will teach you, and they will also tell you which crystals to take with you as well, because I never know. Each gathering I do, I never ever know what crystals are coming with me, because it's no good planning with crystals. That's one thing I must say. It's no good planning with crystals. It does not work. So even when I'm teaching about crystals, I never plan what crystals are coming forwards, because they will tell me what I'm going to be teaching about.
So you'll take the rose quartz and the smoky quartz to create the circle.
Yeah.
But then you'll ask the crystals which ones
you want to add to.
They want you to take with you.
Yeah.
As the healing ones.
Yeah. Also, what I've been also asked to do, which apparently you're going to be asked to do as well, because you're going to be working with nature. Either you've got some or you have to buy some small crystals. What size we're talking about, guys? Oh, this sort of size I take out with me. No, not that size. Right, this size I take out with me in a group, probably about a group of about 20. And what I do is I then ask them to work back with nature. And this is what you're going to do. This is what I've been told to do, advised to do, guided to do, whatever you want to put the word to it. You then offer those crystals at the end of the circle to everyone in the circle. You open the door and you allow them to go out wherever they have been intuitively sensed that they are to plant the crystals back in the earth.
Right. Okay.
And leave them. So you can either put them under leaves, or you have a small trowel with you so they can, in actual fact, dig holes and put it back into earth. Because Mother Earth is asking us all to return certain crystals back to her.
Yeah.
Because they're her babies, they're her children.
Yeah. How will I know what crystals to buy to take with me?
They will tell you.
Right. So do I go into the shop and then ask the crystals which ones I need to buy to give back to Mother Earth?
Before you go into the shop, you can ask.
Okay.
Because whilst you're in the shop, there's too much going on, too many energies. And then you'll have probably too many egos in the shop as well. So you have to take that into consideration. So do it before you go in. So the crystals know you're coming.
Yeah.
And they'll be very eager to support you. Literally, you'll feel as though it's on autopilot. You will go into each crevice of the shop and you'll just instantly know where you're going.
Right. Okay.
And they'll also tell you how many of each to get as well.
Wow. Okay.
And you might find that you get a bit hesitant. going, oh, really? But they will say that's, it's going to work out. Everything's going to work out. Because if you give us back if you give back us to our mother, then we will return something to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Cause and effect, in other words, or the ripple effect.
Yeah.
So that's how I always do it with my suppliers. I always go in. I don't go in with any pre-orders as such. I go in and say, okay, guys, which ones are coming back with me today? Bearing in mind.
And is there like a certain supplier that you advised to go to, or do you just go into your local crystal shop?
I don't go into crystal shops anymore because
Okay.
most of the crystals that they've got, I've already got myself, and there's nothing. And they do surprise me. I must admit, I was in Brighton the other day, and I went into one of these shops I usually go to, have been in before, years and years and years ago, and I was quite shocked actually. Some of the tumbled stones, I thought, whoa, they're a bit expensive, are they? Goodness me! But the size they are, and I thought, what? The crystals were saying, yes, we know they've sort of got a bit of too much ego in it,
Yeah.
and they're too money orientated, and us crystals don't like that. But you know, and then they turn around and say, can you take us out? And I'm going, that's it, it's my code for leaving now. Because every time I go into a crystal shop,
They want
I
you to
always
take
get
them away.
asked, please take me home with you. And I'm going, no, I've got enough, thank you.
So do you
Um,
have a place where you would suggest I go to?
There's a place, my suppliers generally be that I'd have to drive to them, which is a far distance away. One of them is called Spiritual Planet. And I have been using them. I actually got to know about them through my mentor, because he used to go to them and they're very good friends. So I knew that they were very good suppliers. They do get their supplies mainly direct from the mine, and they also know most of the miners as well.
Okay.
And the actual owners, or whatever you want to call them. So that's, yeah, Spiritual Planet. It's in kind of thing. I'll try and get the actual details and I'll give it to Cassie. But they're very, very good. Jan is from South Africa. He is very hardened businessman. I will tell you that one. But his wife Stacey is very lovely. But they have got their own shop where they live, as far as I know, if I can remember, because I usually buy online from them on WhatsApp. You can also do that. You can also ask them on WhatsApp, and they will get in touch with you and deal with, you know, they'll show you through the shop sometimes, or they will pinpoint and take snapshots of the different crystals for you and send them to you. And then you you then circle around what you want and then send it back to them. But
And how does that work? How does that work with the crystals? When I'm not actually there with the crystals, how will the crystals draw me to the right crystals?
They will,
through the
believe you me.
internet?
I was after some Lemurian quartz spheres for a customer of mine, and she wanted specific ones, and she knew that I was able to intuit the ones she was going to be having. So what I did was I asked the crystals, the picture of the crystals on the still, and I said, okay, guide me to the ones I'm supposed to be getting for this particular person. And instantly my finger went onto the page and I was circling all these crystals, and I'm going, how many? And they were going, well, this is what she's wanting. And I sent it back. I sent it to the lady, my customer, and she said, there's exactly, thank you very much. Because I sent her the ones that were no circles. And then I sent her the ones that I'd circled, and believe it or not, identical to her choices.
Wow.
So that's how it works. She
Okay.
didn't send me back the picture of what she'd chosen. She was trusting my intuition. So, you know, she says, I know, I trust you. So that's, and she said, they're exactly the same spheres as I chose. So please just buy them for me.
Wow.
Be that they were very expensive ones, but we won't go into that one. Being Lemurian, and they were sort of about, yeah, they were about that size each.
Okay.
I'm not going into details how much they were, but let me put that way, it was very expensive each. So I had to buy all three of them for her, because money was not an object to them customers. So
Yeah.
I'd like to be in that position personally, but there you go. But I think I've got enough crystals myself, so I don't need to go down that line.
So,
But
yeah. So once I've got the rose quartz and the smoky quartz, I'll then just ask the crystals which ones I need to take with me
yes,
to bury back into Mother Earth.
yes. And also the ones you want to put in, if you want to put different crystals in between the rose quartzes, you can do so.
Okay.
That's entirely what you wish to work with. You may be given a grid pattern to work with sometimes, and sometimes not. I mean, the recent one I did in one of the places I've been to recently with someone else I know, it was in grid form. So I put the rose quartzes out, but they also insisted I took flowers with me from my garden. And I also took pieces of wood with me. There was different things I had to take with me that represented the elements that I had to put in between all of the crystals. So you never
Okay.
know the guidance you receive to what they're asking for.
I love your grids, Felicia. They look so, I mean, they're just so appealing on the eye, but they're also really powerful, aren't they, in terms of abundance and healing and guidance and all of those things. So yeah, I think the message
you
is
so
trust
much.
yourself, Debbie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is that answers the
It does. It
Oh,
does,
great.
yeah.
I saw you
Yeah.
writing. I saw when I was talking earlier. I saw, oh, every now and again you're right, and a bit,
Yeah.
which is good. Which is good.
Yeah, I really want to kind of be embraced by them because of what I'm doing, as opposed to being embraced by my tree.
You might
Love
find
that.
that you might find that sometimes you have to do a grid around a tree, but the grid will be wider because obviously the tree will be in the middle. But
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you will have to stand around the tree sometimes.
Okay. That would make perfect sense to me.
I know. I know
Yeah.
that one. It's weird, but it works.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that
Thank you,
sounds lovely.
Felicia.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate that. Thank you.
Has anyone else got a question before we wrap up? This has been really fascinating. Lara.
Hi, Felicia.
Hi, Lara.
Apologies if I'm moving around quite a lot. I'm actually sitting in my boys' catio, and hence they keep coming in and stuff. So anyway, the computer keeps moving. I've had a couple of really interesting experiences that I just wanted to run past you with crystals. I love them. I picked them up since I was a little girl. I've always had them on me. And like if I wear hematite or something like that, it disintegrates, it just breaks and falls off me. And I've also recently used shungite and water. So I had a 5-liter glass water container. I can see you shaking your head. And the actual glass container broke at the base. I came down, the boys, my cats ran up, they were making such a fuss. I was like, what's going on? I came running downstairs, and there was a 5-liter container that had literally cracked in a perfect line the whole way across the base, and had 5 liters of water like just emptying over my counter. But it was literally a perfect crack. Impossible.
Right. So, a lot of people say put shungite in water because it purifies with water. Again, it's not advisable because you do not know what the makeup properties are of each crystal, of each shungite. So you may have arsenic, more a percentage of arsenic or cadmium in there. You may have mercury in high quantities, but you never ever know what quantities of the rock formation that it grew in. So I always say when I'm teaching, never, ever, ever put anything other than a tumbled crystal like rose quartz or citrine or carnelian in water, because it doesn't. The energies will come out. Yet there's not going. Oh, I like the cat's tail. adds the adds to the energy. Hello. Obviously very astute with crystals then, are you? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so shungite, raw or tumbled, it doesn't make any difference. Because it's such a porous crystal,
Right.
you have to be very careful. So I always do, when I'm purifying my waters, everything is indirect. So it's a bowl of water and the crystals around it or on it.
Okay.
Or even on top, you put a piece of cardboard on top of the vessel and you put crystals on the top as well as around the bottom.
So not actually in the water.
No, unless you can actually, I mean, obviously this is a big crystal, but if I, oh no, hang on a minute, I've got my smaller one. So if I was to actually put that piece of rose quartz in, I would know it was safe to put in because it's tumbled.
Right.
There's not going to be any shavings coming off. There's not going to be anything shattering off from it because it is a tumbled crystal. So it's been reconstituted by man, obviously, because it was originally rough, and then it's made smooth. So it's either polished or tumbled. You put in crystals in water, and generally rose quartz, smoky quartz, carnelian citrine. There's another one, isn't there, I use regularly as clockwork. It's not coming to me at the moment, but it has to be tumbled, no
Okay.
raw. And also another thing which I learned very easily, which is kyanite.
Okay.
Right, so if you've ever heard of kyanite, blue kyanite, you've got blue, orange and green.
I think I've got one.
Most people know kyanites. This is to do with expression, throat chakra and root chakra, and yeah, and back problems. Kyanite, I learned from one of my students. She had been advised from a very big expert who writes lots of books, and I'm not saying who they are, advised her to put piece of carnelian, piece of kyanite, blue kyanite, to help her with her clearing her throat chakra, to put it in water. I then severely asked her to stop doing that because she's going to be poisoning herself, plus cutting herself inside. It's a cutting instrument in industry. And what happens is it grows in slithers, very small slithers, one after the other, but it's sharp. So when I spoke to my mentor, he said, oh no, he said, who taught her to do that? And when I mentioned, he went, oh, well, I'm surprised. But he said, please, please, please tell us to stop, because it literally will kill her from the inside out. You'll just bleed to death.
Scary.
So I know it's horrific stories, but
Yeah.
the better you make people aware of what crystals are capable of, the better, because then you can steer well away from that. So it literally, this is an indirect crystal. You would never, ever use it directly in water.
Okay.
Because
Okay, great.
I don't know whether you've got any kyanite, but you would never put it into water.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I went into a shop in South Africa and I was like really struggling with concentration focus many years ago, and I'm sure I've got kyanite, but I didn't know what it was. It's the one I chose.
Yeah, because kyanite, that's a smaller one.
Yeah, I think I've got something similar to that.
Yeah, but you would always use it indirectly. So you'd put a jug of water and you'd put all the crystals around it like a grid, or put a grid on the bottom and then sit it on there if you're able to get flat crystals. And then you would then put it in a bowl or just on the surface, but you'd not actually put it directly in. So if anyone is thinking about doing the direct method, I suggest you do the indirect method because it is safest for yourself. Even if you think it's very safe for certain crystals because you've heard it off the internet, the YouTube or whatever. No, there are so many people out there that are not giving the true version of what crystals can do. And it can be damaging and hurtful, really. Even I've been hearing people do this for children and pets as well. And I say, no. People put pieces of sulfur directly into cat and dog bowls. And I'm going, are you serious? No, don't do that. You put it at the side, even though the cat will move it or the dog will move it, it still will work, but you don't ever put it in the water.
Okay, always to the side. Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, I was like, okay, it's not supposed to be. And then, like I said, if I wear hematite, I'm sure it's hematite. It just breaks. It just shatters. So I'm like, okay, can't wear that. And then one more question, because I see a lot of these questions come up when I watch various bits and pieces, but how do you know, how do people know if the crystal is real or glass when you're buying it? If you're not physically there.
Oh, right. Okay. So this is on
there's
the
a lot of, there's a lot of.
There is. If it says it's from China, beware. That's all I can say, because they are mimicking Moldavite, and it also is determined by the price. Now, yesterday when I was in my networking, somebody asked me for a Herkimer diamond. Yes, Agassi, they're becoming very familiar recently, popular. I took my Herkimers with me. Now, a small piece of Herkimer, that size, is probably about £20. in China, they will mimic it by putting, getting a similarity crystal in quartz, ordinary quartz crystal. I don't mean to be, I'm sorry to say this, guys, but you know what I mean. So I'm talking to my crystal guides. They feel very, very, when I say ordinary, but a piece of quartz crystal that almost mimics a Herkimer diamond, but it's from somewhere else in the world, and they'll call it Herkimer's, but they'll only charge you £1.50. And you're thinking, hang on a minute, that's not Herkimer. They're very expensive. Why can they do it at £1.50 when I know somewhere else is doing it for £20, £25? So you have to be very, very astute with the prices. And if it's going to be online, for instance, I don't really do things online, apart from obviously where I trust my suppliers from. You have to be very careful. I mean, as I said, Moldavite is a definite. You just steer well away from anything that's Moldavite unless you know where the actual supply comes from, and it's supposed to come from Poland. If it doesn't come from Poland, forget it. It doesn't work. The same with citrine. If it doesn't come from the Congo or recognized places that are supposed to come from, and it comes from China, again, avoid it, because they will in actual fact get a piece of quartz, and in a laboratory they will make it by putting certain chemicals into the quartz and make it a citrine. So they will cook it, in other words, and then say, oh look, we've got a citrine. And it's not amethyst sometimes, it's also other crystals they use. And the price goes down because citrines are not, they're not expensive like Herkimer's, but they're not cheap either. So you can also tell by the colors of them. And you can, I have known this before, you can actually ask the picture of the crystal, is it true? And your body will tell you by using your body, because it's not 85% water, you will be a divination tool, and your waters will tell you, in other words, if you sway forwards, it's a yes. If you accidentally fall back, it's a no, it's fake. And that's like with everything. Yeah. If you go shopping for anything or do anything and you want the truth, you use your body as the pendulum to tell you whether this is for you or not. And that actually goes for everything. If you're going shopping and you know you're not supposed to have those chocolate biscuits, your body will tell you you're not supposed to have them. Boom, that goes. So it does work across the board, whatever you're doing. But obviously with crystals, it also works. So you can do that. You can put your hand up, rub your hands together, put your hand up against the screen, and just put the other hand on the heart and say, is this a true, whatever crystal it is? And your body will tell you.
Yeah, I've done that with supplementation. So I teach a lot of nutrition, and I get students to stand with supplements in their hand, and which way do they fall? It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I think I had one more question, but it's gone. So clearly it's not worth asking.
Anyway, thank you very much for your questions.
Well, just hold that thought, Laura, in case it comes to you. Felicia, I'm happy to stay on if you are and if anyone else is, but can tell us how we can work with you and where we can find you, and tell us about your crystal readings if anyone's interested, because I think there's so much here individually that people might want to work with you on. So
I work mainly from my Facebook page and my profile, but also Instagram. I don't have a website as yet. I'm manifesting one. And so that I work from there. So I can always put the link into the post afterwards, because I'm not a techie person at the moment, like Cassie is.
I've just put it in the chat box
here,
and I'll put it in the group. It's Unicorn Light 88 on Facebook.
Yeah. I also work with unicorns and dragons as well, just to let you know. And angels and whatever else I work with. So yeah, I do crystal realm readings. And all right, okay, guys, really? If it's okay with Cassie, that is. I'll have to ask you, apparently, to give you a snippet of information of how it works. So if anyone's interested in having a crystal realm reading, which is a complete life changer, as Cassie will tell you.
It definitely
And
is.
it removes so much stuff that you don't want, and everything that's hanging around in the distance and you don't know what it is. You have no idea, know where it came from, or you have no clue why something is blocking you from doing something, until the crystals come up with the information directly to me, and I then then I will channel it through to the person I'm talking to. And okay, really? Oh, right, okay. Yes, this week in particular, I can give you an example quickly. I had someone coming to me who actually phoned me and asked me to have a treatment, physical treatment with me. And I love them because I never know. It's like with Zoom runs, I never know how it's going to pan out, to be honest. It's all complete intuitive. And she came along, she said, I don't feel too good. I feel all over the place. I've got neck problems, back problems. I have no idea what's going on. And I said, okay, come along then, and we'll sort of see what comes up. And because I work with meridians as well as chakras, I worked out the back was having a bit of a problem. And there was all sorts of issues with her actual posture. So as soon as she'd arrived on the couch, I soon realized her body was leaning more over to the right masculine side than the left. So of course, her whole body was like a Mexican wave, in other words. So the body went, head was straight, shoulder was slightly over to the left, went into the middle of the back, further over to the right, then reverted back to the left, and then all of her hips and lower back were over to the right, following to the left of her body. And then as it sort of went down to her legs went in a very peculiar mannerism. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it was literally out of balance. It looked like her legs weren't straight, in other words. And her feet were pointing in the wrong direction, opposite one another. And they're supposed to be straight. That's reflexology coming into mind as well. So of course I'm multifaceted here. So I'm just working on all of the knowledge I've got inside me and my physical that I can actually apply to the actual body. We did lots of acupressure point removal. We did Traeger work. We did, what we didn't do is more. And eventually the client was completely asleep. I had to slightly wake her up to turn over. And she turned over, and her back, she said, felt completely a different back. And her posture felt different because obviously I'd placed her body back into alignment as she's supposed to be. And then turned her on her front, and we had my Herkimer diamond. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. And put crystals on her Herkimer diamond, on her heart chakra, and immediately my crystal reading came in. And it was saying that there was too much care taken to other people and not enough of herself. And also because she was working on a high vibration, her body wasn't matching what she was doing. So the crystals were giving her the necessary information to clear away all of the stuff that was self-sabotage and self-doubt. But it also went back to a very previous time, in a dark time of when she was in another lifetime. And we were clearing the diamond, even though I wasn't touching it and it was on the person's body. I was actual fact had one in each hand of the crystal that was on my client. And we were working simultaneously, clearing ley lines. We were clearing ancestral lines. We were clearing paternal, maternal. We were clearing past lives, present life and future. And it was going in several directions, like a star shape, all at once. So it was multi-dimensional all at once, but with the elements. It's quite in depth for me because it was unusual, but I was loving it because it was just literally like a magician, which was working at the same time. And eventually the crystal imparted all the information to my client and closed down the channel. And then I went into crystal healing and sealed in all of the information that was given to her, and then cut my energies from them and left them on their own. And when I'd finished, my client was saying how amazing she was feeling during the actual session, that she had been taken on a separate, complete journey which matched what I was doing, but it was a separate one. It was very, very difficult to explain. It was together but apart. It was amazing how and then all of a sudden, right at the end, we fused together. It was amazing to see. It was like a firework display going off at one point in time, with the actual sounds as well, but it was all coming from the crystals. And yes, it was just literally fascinating to watch as the narrator, but also the on-seer as well, and the observer. And this is what crystals do. I never ever know when I'm doing crystal reading what happens, where we're going, but it's very, very fascinating and enjoyable. But also I can see the person change from when they either on Zoom or when they come to me, the difference in energy and how they look physically to when they arrive to when they leave. Their eyes sparkle, their body posture changes, their mannerisms change, and you can sense their auric fields completely different. They pulsate differently.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that story. That's a really good example, isn't it? Really, really powerful, the power of healing crystals. Any last questions then? Lara.
I remembered my question. So you were talking about knowing whether something's real or fake or whatever. Is there like a place, yes, I know, where we can have a look at a sourcing list so that we know where things are legitimately from or not from? I know we obviously talk about the swaying and all of that sort of stuff that we can do as well. But is there, I don't know, somewhere you can find that these things normally come from, like we say the Congo with the citrine and stuff like that, or where does amethyst normally come from? Or
not as such. It's all down to the individual teacher. Okay. Really, that's, I mean, from my recognition from when I was doing mine, there's no actual list because no one will do that. It has to come from each individual teacher, or because when I was doing, I also asked the same question from my tutor, and he said there won't be anywhere, because the people who are doing all of this, the wrongdoings, they don't want people to know about it necessarily. They want to keep it secret. So they won't have anybody wanting to broad sweep out there going, oh, these ones are wrong, and avoid them.
Right, okay.
So you would have to find someone who has their own knowledge of all the crystals that are fake and not. There's a lot of the person, I mean, for me, I suppose I've got my own rather than anything else. I don't rely on anybody else to do it. I used to, because I used to had my tutor with me, but he's now retired. So he taught me what is what, and what to look for as well. Because it's also, there's another one, blue obsidian. That obsidians are glass, yet they are also, they are crystals because obviously they come from a volcano. But blue obsidian can be fake. So why it's only blue obsidian? Because the other ones that don't fake, maybe they're too obvious to fake, really and truly. You cannot necessarily fake snowflake obsidian or mahogany obsidian, but you can obviously do it with blue because obviously it's translucent, so you can actually fact see straight through it. Which they do. They actually have ordinary glass, which in actual fact is a crystal. It's actually sand melted down, so it's actually a crystal. Yeah, most people see it the same as aqua auras, not aqua auras, angelites. I don't use them because they've been dipped, but they are glass. You know, the opalites, yes, crystals, they are dipped in opal, but are not considered a crystal. But I consider them a crystal because they've still got magic in them because they're connected with the fairies, but there we go, that's my version. But they are glass, which have been dipped in titanium, gold or silver, or usually they can be in opal, sparks of opal as well. Okay. But yeah, there is no designated, you can go, I can say to you, go to, there isn't.
Yeah, I was just thinking like where, yeah. Obviously to know where they sourced from is better. So I suppose we can ask that question. which is always good. Where did you get your
Well, exactly, because
Who
obviously,
dug it up?
because you have to know where the amethyst comes from, because it can be
Yeah.
Brazil, it
Yeah.
can be from Uruguay, it can be as different places in the world.
Yeah.
But you have to know exactly, is it true? Because each amethyst that comes from different places have a different formation of crystal. I've got Uruguayan upstairs and it looks totally different to Brazilian.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, it's
amazing.
about tuning in, isn't it? And trusting and doing the swaying. And
Yeah.
thank you so much. That's been
Thank
brilliant.
you.
And thank you for staying with us so long, Felicia. Really appreciate your time. So guys, well, you're in the Intuitive Business Club, Felicia, aren't you? So if people do have questions after the session or after watching the replay, is it okay if they message you there? And then people can obviously contact you directly if they want a crystal reading or healing or anything from you directly.
Yes, that's fine. That's great. Thank you, Cassie. I've really
Yeah,
enjoyed it, actually.
Good, yeah. And I'm going to go and take my dream catcher and put it outside and give it some fresh air. And it's funny because I was going to put it in my conservatory, which is really lovely and light and warm, and I couldn't find anywhere to hang it, so I ended up bringing it back into the house. And I'm thinking, you're right, it does need to definitely go out. So
Thank you very much for everyone coming as well. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you very
brilliant.
much for your
Thank you.
time.
All right, guys, take care. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Felicia, so much. You've been amazing and so much value. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Felicia.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Emily. Bye.
Bye.